The sombrero is a traditional Mexican hat with a large brim that's designed to cast a wide shadow over the face and shoulders. Everyday sombreros are made of straw, but mariachi bands and other performers wear fancier ones, made of velvet, wool or felt, with elaborate decorations. These sombreros are made as decorative tourist souvenirs. Artisans construct and decorate each one entirely by hand. They start by placing a sun-shaped cutting die at the center of a large sheet of thick paper. As the press closes, the die slices through, making a hole. Next, they place the sheet between two hot sombrero-shaped forms. These mold the paper to the shape of the hat's brim. The excess is trimmed off and the perimeter stitched to reinforce the edge. The brim is soaked in a gelatine solution and then it's laid out in the sun to dry. This stiffens the paper. Next, they fold a sheet of paper and die cut another shape. They sew the far ends together to form a circle. This will form the top of the sombrero, called the cup. Glue is spread along the base, where it's attached to the brim. Glue is also applied to this paper circle. Then they place the cup on the same hot form they used to mold the brim. After shaping the cup, they reinforce the top with the paper circle. The sombrero is now fully constructed. The next step is to cover it in fabric. They coat the surface with glue. Then, section by section, stick on pieces of velvet or felt. They start with the cup. The fabric has to be pre-cut and sewn to the correct shape. The next section is the brim's underside. Trim off the excess fabric with a razor blade and cut away the fabric over the cup. Next, a piece to cover the top of the brim. Throughout this process, the material is pulled taut and smoothed down. Final trimming and the sombrero is fully covered. Elsewhere in the factory, automated machines weave spools of metallic and synthetic string into colourful trim patterns. Artisans in the decoration department cut out paper motifs and cover them in trim. Then they make colourful appliques by sewing the motifs and sequins onto velvet-covered paper shapes. They glue these appliques to the sombrero. Finally, they glue trim around the edges. This holds the edges down and finishes them off nicely. On snazzier sombreros, all the decorations are sewn by hand. There are no glued-on appliques. The artisans complete every sombrero with a fabric lining in the cup, then a drawstring. Handy for wearing this Mexican memento, or more likely, hanging it on the wall when you get home.